Our Western counterparts have reacted as expected. Over the last few decades, they've developed a habit of accusing Russia of all sorts of things and blaming everything on us. Antonio Guterres said that by recognizing the Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics, we have violated the principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity. Our colleagues at the UN Secretariat should stick to the UN principles. If we take the principle of sovereignty and territorial integrity as enshrined in the UN Charter, the primary document that its application is based on is called the Declaration on Principles of International Law Concerning Friendly Relations and Cooperation among States. On the principle sovereignty and territorial integrity, this declaration says it has to be observed without fault regarding all states conducting themselves in compliance with the principle of equal rights and self-determination of peoples, and thus possessed of a government representing the whole people belonging to the territory without distinction as to race, creed or colour. I do not believe anybody would claim that the Kiev regime has been representing all people of Ukraine since the 2014 coup. Many regions refused to accept the anti-constitutional development that marked a new tragic page in Ukrainian history. What happened in Crimea and the eastern parts of Ukraine shows that at the time millions of Ukrainians vehemently refused to recognize the new regime. It would be good to see the Secretariat remember the principles that the UN was founded on before making any statements, the principles decided on by its member states. The Minsk agreements have literally been crushed by the Kiev regime. Immediately after the agreements were signed, Ukrainian President Pyotr Poroshenko went to the Verkhovna Rada and started making excuses for signing this crucial document instead of speaking in its defense, a document that offered a way to stop the war and open the path to a peaceful settlement in order to maintain the territorial integrity of Ukraine. Paweł Klimkin, who was Ukraine's Minister of Foreign Affairs at the time, tried to assure everyone that the Minsk agreements did not really mean anything, that they were a mere scrap of paper and Ukraine had not actually undertaken any commitments. They were afraid to defend their position and the consensus achieved in Minsk by the presidents of Ukraine, Russia, France and Germany. And we can see now that they are trying to shift the blame for destroying the Minsk Accords onto Russia. Our partners in Europe, the US and UK will not stop or settle until they have exhausted all the means available to punish Russia. They are already threatening to introduce all kinds of severe sanctions, the mother of all sanctions as they call this package. We are used to this, and President Vladimir Putin has made Russia's position on this very clear. We know that sanctions will be introduced against Russia in any case, for a reason or without it. Unfortunately, I have to say that the European Union behaved in a negative and provocative manner. It's proven time and time again that it cannot answer for its words and actions. Let's not forget that right before the coup, in February 2014, it was the EU, represented by foreign ministers of Germany, Poland and France, that became the guarantor of the agreement between Yanukovych and the opposition. And when the opposition threw that agreement out the window the next morning, caring nothing for the EU representatives, the EU had to basically put on a good face and take it. Soon enough, the EU started saying that it wasn't a coup exactly, but part of the democratic process. What a disgrace. It took so much effort to stop the bloodshed in Donbass in February 2015. Again, with the EU representatives, namely leaders of France and Germany, we spent many hours negotiating in Minsk. The talks resulted in the Minsk Accords, whose fate has everyone so concerned now. Pretty much every day for 7 years, we told our European counterparts about Kiev brazenly disregarding them. The Ukrainian government did nothing, while publicly stating that they were not going to adhere to the Minsk Accords. We remain committed to solving any issues through peaceful means. In this regard, we are very concerned about the belligerent rhetoric coming from the Kiev regime and Ukraine being pumped up with weapons. The Ukrainian forces keep opening fire on the DPR and LPR borders. However, Russia signed treaties on friendship, cooperation and mutual assistance with both new republics, wherein Russia guarantees their security. I think we all understand what that means. Zelensky might do anything. He's unstable and fully dependent on his American handlers.